If you've been following Classics World TV from the beginning, you might have noticed that when we bought our recent selection of project cars, I was the one that was dishing out the prizes and I didn't actually get a sum of money myself. And that was because I've already got this Honda CRX. A lot of you might have seen the video already. We bought it at auction earlier this year. It was going to be our prize giveaway car for Kelsey Media this summer, but a certain pandemic has put paid to that. So I pulled rank and took it home. And here it is in my garage, and I'm not about to give the keys back anytime soon. It is great fun, it really is. I drive an automatic Toyota hybrid every day, which is not exactly exciting. So every so often, when there's an excuse, when some milk needs buying or something, I'll jump in this and burn off down the road. It is great fun. It's not perfect though. Main thing was the sunroof. It was the only rusty part of the car actually, and it's a common thing with the Civic and the CRX. I took it to my favourite body shop. Now they can fix anything really, but the guy actually came out and he said, I'm going to be honest, I just can't really promise a neat job on this. The problem, the flange around the edge here is really tiny, and trying to weld to it, because you're trying to probably weld to rust anyway, it's going to be a really difficult job. We were a bit stuck, didn't know quite what to do about this. You can't buy a new one. You could buy a second-hand one, but you'd have to get it from the States and it would cost an absolute packet. We looked around, thought laterally, and found a seller doing fiberglass replacements. Ordered one, thinking, well, you know, how bad can it be? It wasn't at all bad. It was exceptionally good. The guy had done it absolutely spot on with a reinforced frame in the middle, which was actually metal, and all the fitting studs and the clips and the holes for all the headliner and everything. For now, I've actually vinyl wrapped it in satin black here. I mean, it's got a bit dusty, but it's not a bad job actually. You can still tell it's probably fiberglass, but I think from a distance it looks like a glass roof, like a tinted glass sunroof panel. So I'm pretty pleased with that for now, and certainly when we have the bonnet sprayed, because you can probably see in the film here that the bonnet is slightly discoloured, we'll probably get the sunroof painted professionally, but for now it's fine. It doesn't leak. One thing that I'm particularly proud of is my cup holder. Now, there's no cup holder in the CRX, and you might think that's a modern day problem, a first world problem, but you're on a long journey, you've got a bottle of water, there is nowhere to put it in this car that it doesn't roll onto the floor and go under the brake pedal or spill or something. Here's your standard CRX ashtray. Can't stand a bottle in that, no. Put a bottle in here, well, it won't fit. Put a bottle down here and it will just roll under the clutch pedal or the brake pedal. So what you do is you get your 3D printer and you make something that simply slides in, instead of the ashtray, into the grooves that the ashtray would use, and even clicks in. There you go, job done. Couldn't be simpler. Haven't modified the car. I should go into business with these maybe. Mind you, it took about 5 hours to print. Another thing that needs sorting out is the radio aerial. It's a bit of a joke in the office at Kelsey that I'll drive anything, absolutely anything, as long as the brakes and the radio work. And not necessarily in that order either. This is not the best. I don't quite know what's up with it, but it'll only get Radio 5 live. It gets on your nerves after a bit, to be honest, and local radio, well, you know, let's not go there. So it needs replacing, and it's not exactly a big job, I don't think. Obviously the part, when you go to buy it, it fits a load of Rovers as well. Well, it would do, wouldn't it? Let's tackle this radio aerial. I think it's pretty simple, just a couple of screws. I've got a replacement here, just a couple of screws and it's out, I guess. So we'll get the Torx bit and have a look. Out you come. It doesn't want to, does it? Also, I don't want to break the rubber fitting or the seal, because obviously we won't be able to seal the roof otherwise. It looks to me like someone's repaired the cable and it's binding on the hole. Where do you go to buy new CRX A-pillar trims, eh? I'm going to have to work inside now, I think. Amazingly, I think this might actually be the original aerial, because I've traced the wire under the steering column here, and it's actually in a factory clip. Nobody does that when they fit an aerial, do they? So I think this aerial's been in here since 1989, which may well explain why it only picks up 5 lights. And now I've got a bit of a job to trace it past the fuse box without disturbing anything else. I don't want to end up with the lights not working or something when I've ripped a wire out of a connector. The best thing is a bit of brute force. It seems to be sticking here where there's a bit of a bulge where all the cables connect. And at the other end here, well, we're just going to tie a bit of string to that, frankly. It's like running a wire down a cavity wall, isn't it? Here we go. Come on. There we are. Right. I've got a bit of string tied to the end of the wire here, so I'm just going to carry on pulling and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, that. That can happen. I think I've solved the problem now by simply rotating the cable as I pull it. And there we are. Yeah, still some string there as well. I haven't pulled it all through like you sometimes do. Right, let's get started putting the new one in. As you can see, the new one is really quite a lot shorter than the old one. The screws they supply with the new one are massive self-tappers. I think I'll be keeping the originals. Try and make it as streamlined as possible. Okay, I'm pulling on the string. There's a definite pinch point there. Okay. What's wrong with an aerial on the wing? This is the point at which I pull really hard on the string in a temper and find I rip the main wiring loom out off the fuse box or something. Right then, desperate measures are called for. There is no way this wire is going down here and coming out the other end with a plug attached to it. Luckily, I bought a cheap aerial, so I can quite happily crimp the end back on anyway. As you can see, it's hardly a quality product. Duct tape has got to be the way forward at this point, I feel. Job done, finally. That has taken a couple of hours. Why didn't I cut the thing off in the first place? This is the moment at which we find it doesn't fit in the roof or something. So, if you're planning on fitting a roof aerial to a late 80s Honda or a Rover of the same era, set aside an afternoon, I would. Finally, let's screw it back. Obviously, you have to drop the bolts a couple of times. That is obligatory. Gasket fits. Eventually, we got it done. I've routed the cable all around under the dash. I've even clipped it in under the column like it's meant to be. Soldered the end back on. So we'll plug it in. I've got this small radio. It's just one that I bought online, which has Bluetooth and hands-free and everything like that. It's a little bit more modern if you're actually using the car every day. You start. Oh, we don't want that. All we want is radio 2, so we can get Popmaster.
You put your heart and soul into.
There we go, radio 2. That's all we need.
Done there.
Job done, I reckon.
Yeah.